call to order this regular meeting of the Kingman Unified School District number 20, February 11th, 2025 at 4:31. Will you please stand and recite the pledge, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Roll call. Tony Henry.
Boyd Hardy.
Susan Collins.
Roger Cox.
We have a quorum. That brings us to item number 4 on the agenda. This is the call to the audience. During this time, the board will listen to any comment from the public, but will not respond except as permitted by Arizona Revised Statute 38-431.01. The board may refer the item to administration or request to have it placed on a future agenda. And it is this board's policy that all calls to the audience fit under a 3-minute time window. And tonight we do have quite a few, so we will be adhering to that. I'm going to call Ron Mayer first. Let's see where there he is. You got kicked out of your normal spot, man.
That's all right. They're here, let them be.
It says here you're here to speak on block schedules.
Yeah, Madam President, Superintendent Dorner, members of the board. I'm here because my granddaughter is in 8th grade, and as part of the course 8th grade tours, they get talked to from the high schools, and one of the comments was that we're going to block schedule. And I know we're talking about it, and that's in a process, but when our 8th graders are coming home saying we're going to block schedule, we're kind of in a quite problem with the idea of if we're sending that information home, we're going to start causing problems. We probably need to either move forward with it or back out of it for this next year until we're ready to really go with it and flow with it, because we're getting half truths, half information, and half rumors. And it's either do it now before we run out and teachers don't want to come back because of block and are making a decision when it is physically too late really for them to go look for new jobs, or we're going to be asking teachers to work their summer to account for the block schedule to do their lesson planning, because there's more that goes into a block schedule than just their normal 1-hour planning day. So teachers need to have time to adjust, adapt, and learn to do that also. So it's all part of this process that we're running out of time for. And I'm not here to complain about it because I've done both. I don't care which one you go to. I will support whatever one you go to. But we need to make a decision and make it fast and get it out to the staff is what I'm saying. And I just think that's the easiest way. It'll stop the rumors and end the problems that we're creating here. Thank you.
We have Marisol Torres.
I'm here to speak in support of Mrs. Carmel Rome. I want to cover on, me meeting her when I worked for the school Women's. I think that she came in and supported the students and did a lot of changes that were, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, that were towards supporting them, their education and growth. I know that when I first started, they didn't have the student store going. I know she got that started. It might have not been the greatest start. I do feel that being an employee there and seeing her do the process, there was lack of support from the CTE director who was there at the time, and a little bit of lack of guidance when she first started. My son had her as an instructor for business, and it was his favorite class. Very good with communicating when he was not doing assignments, very good with re-guiding him to get his assignments done and giving him time with doing them. Thank you. I think that's it. Thanks.
Okay, we have Ricardo Nunez.
Yeah, I want to talk about in support of Miss Caramel Rowe. I just want to talk about how she was very supportive as my teacher, as my business management teacher for Business 1, and part of Business 2. And that whenever I was off track, she would always help me. She was never always, he wasn't learning right. She would always support me in everything. Even when I messed up hard, she would always help me. And she's not in it for the money or anything. She's in it to actually help the students. She doesn't do this job just because she wants the money. She wants to see the students learn. She wants to see them grow, and she also does this by giving us great lessons and many other things. But also with that, since she's gone, the student store has been closed for a while now, which was a big thing about our school. And it's been, I'd say, 4 months, maybe 5 months that she's been gone, and no student store, no proper education. We've had many substitutes since she's been gone. That's all I needed to say.
Jenna Osborne.
I'm here about Ms. Carmel Rowe. She's helped me a lot with just like my academics in general, not even just business management. She's helped me in my personal life. She's helped me with my first job. She has helped me with my resume, just everything. She's also very dedicated to the students because even in the beginning of the year, she sat with everybody and talked about what they wanted to do in their future and what their educational goals were. And just so she can have a better understanding and help everybody. She also really pushes me, and I've noticed since she's been gone, my grades have been dropping in that class. I feel like I haven't been able to really understand the concept. There's also many substitutes, like the last person said. We weren't doing anything for like a straight month in that class due to her not being gone because there was multiple substitutes and nobody could teach what she was teaching. I feel like also in the student store, nobody's been showing up. There's also been a big profit for the FBLA that has gone down because of she's not being here. And that's all I have to say.
Joshua Ladson.
Hi, my name is Joshua Ladson. I'm a former student of Miss Rose as well as her son. Though my opinion up here is not going to be completely biased, I'm going to tell you guys straight up the truth and nothing but the truth. So my mom came into this. She did not go to college to be a teacher, nothing. She straight up wanted to be an entrepreneur her entire life. So she came in teaching kids what she knew about the real world, gave them real world experience. And when the first day she came in, she didn't ask these kids, just the basics, what are your name, this, that, and the other. She asked them, what do you want to do in life? And wanted to set these kids up with an actual plan, which no other teacher at the school has done there. I mean, I can tell you guys, I'm a senior now, and I'm coming from California, and every single class is a breeze. None of these teachers actually take it serious, and I'm not just a C student or anything. I hold like a 3.7 GPA, so I'm telling you guys straight up the truth. And my mother, she's not in this for the money. She really could care less about that. She's a real estate agent on the side. So she does that. She does this, comes to school every single day, thinking about each and every single one of her students. She's like, how can I get them to succeed in life? How can I push them forward, push them? And look, every single one of these kids over here, I guarantee you, 2 years ago, not one of them would have the courage to come up and speak. She took us to multiple different states for FBLA. We learned about the world, seen the world, competed in multiple events, placed in regionals multiple times, out winning KHS multiple times. But the most recent regionals, she hasn't been there. We probably took home 1 medal, or 1 person showed up even. And mind you, my sophomore year, the school was filled with kids, packed. This senior year, kids have gone offline. the hallways are like a ghost lands now, gone. You know what I mean? There's no help really. If you're failing class, teachers are like, get your grade up, this, that, and the other. They're not caring. And since my mom has been gone, kids don't like coming to school. Their favorite teacher's gone. The student store's closed, which that's a big thing. Like kids would come in, not having her class, build that relationship with my mom, and they would love it. And my mom did tell me to prepare a speech today, this, that, and the other. But me, I felt like there's just no point. I'm gonna come straight from the heart. There's nothing in my hand up here written. I'm just telling you how it is. And like, something needs to happen, something needs to change, because these kids, they're not getting the proper education that you guys think they are. Some kids may like it and, you know, agree with some teachers, but the majority of the kids, you can see, they're leaving, they're gone. They don't care anymore. They don't have that support or role model anymore. And as far as that, just look at the students behind you. This is a fraction of the kids that actually care about it. Most of them couldn't come here today, this, that, and the other, but just think, if this many is already here, simply just to come and support, how many are actually really behind her at the school? And that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for listening.
Kira Merrill.
Hi, my name is Kira Merrill, and Miss Rowe was my teacher for quite a few months, and she was my sister's teacher before that. And she taught her very, very well. My sister passed all her classes and had nothing bad to say about her. She was a really good teacher. I thoroughly enjoyed her class, and I wish she was my teacher again. She has taught us well and consistently. Ever since she left, we haven't had a good learning experience, and we keep getting substitutes that say they're permanent, and then they leave, get replaced, or they quit. We don't have consistent teaching or assignments, so we're all fighting to catch up because no one's giving us our assignments on time and keeps giving us assignments that we've already done from previous semesters. Grades were so behind and people are struggling and no one has had access to the things we need to get done. I also had her for FBLA, and without her for FBLA, members, including myself and advisors, were all lost. Miss Rowe was our main advisor and got everyone prepared, organized, and kept us in check. She cared about our safety and our well-being, make sure we know where we are going and everything we are doing. A lot more kids are going online or elsewhere because Miss Rowe is no longer there. She was a lot of kids' safe place, and when they just needed a minute or a place to do work without being judged. She's a good person and an educator, and she has been there for a lot of us. Thank you.
I might say it wrong. Iram Lord? Iram?
So, got a couple notes from students that weren't able to show up to this portion. And I also got two from other previous students that were not able to show up. Thank you, Richard.
Faith Ladson?
Good evening, board members, staff, students, and parents who have shown up here today. I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone in this room for their time. Because in life, time is limited, so thank you for yours. Secondly, I want to thank my mother for not only showing up for me, but for her students the last 3 years. You guys know her as Miss Rowe, but to me, she's a lot more than that. She's Miss Rowe, she's my mother, father, she's my mentor, teacher, my best friend, all in one. Let me take you back to COVID. I know, right? COVID. My mom came to me and said, Faith, do you want to skip 8th grade? Of course I said I want to skip 8th grade. She said, okay, Faith, but you will still have to do 8th grade, but in a matter of 5 months, in paper packets. She said, I know you can do it.
From that day forward, I knew if my mom believed in me, I can do it if she believed. With that being said, that year, I finished 8th grade in a matter of 5 months. I know what got me through it was my mom's belief in me and encouragement I had on a day-to-day basis. I remember that year, I lost a lot of friends who doubted me due to me trying to jump ahead in life. I had to focus on one thing, and one thing only, and that was time. I had on my remaining 8th grade year. That is why I wanted to thank you all for your time here today, because I truly understand the value. Moving on to my graduating year in 2024, I was probably the most excited senior in my class because I knew I would be graduating in white at the age of 16 years old and the first Latin of my 5 brothers to walk across the high school stage. It meant more to me than a piece of paper saying I did it. To me, it meant making history and leading as an example to my brothers and other generations that are younger than me. It's truly possible if you believe. One day, senior year, I got called to my counselor's office, Miss Hayes. She had told me I would not be graduating in white due to me missing 1% of getting a 3.6 out of 3.55. When she told me that, it gave me a boost of energy and a sense to want more. Because I believe that was a part of my journey and that's what God wanted me to do. I remember clear as day, that week I had requested to have a meeting with Principal Hannon and my mom to talk about how I could get that extra credit to walk in white. We had a plan, we had a goal, that I would need all A's my last semester of high school, including a dual credit college courses, in order to graduate in white. I remember we all agreed that it was on me to get this done. We all left the principal's office that day. 15 minutes later, I get called back into Principal Hannon's office without my mother. I had no clue what for because we just spoke to the Principal Hannon for our new plan for me to achieve my goal. I will never forget the words that came out of her mouth. She said, "Faith, are you sure you want to do this?" I didn't care what color I graduated in. You won't either. I can't explain why I will still remember this to this day. Maybe it was...
That's time. I really am sorry.
You're fine.
4 minutes.
Thank you.
Keegan Boatman.
Hello, thank you for having me. I am here for the behalf of Miss Rowe. She was an amazing teacher and she taught us my whole freshman year. She was one of my favorite teachers and she was the reason I got through my freshman year. Without Miss Rowe, that half the reason, she taught us life skills, and the reason that right now I have a job because of Miss Rowe. If I didn't have the life skills or the way she taught us throughout the whole year of me knowing her for the freshman and half the sophomore year, I wouldn't be capable to stand up here and talk to you guys with the more positive attitude I have now as I did in my freshman year. She was an amazing teacher and she taught us the way that not a lot of teachers have. Just like everyone else that's sitting here right now, we've been through teacher after teacher since she left the school. We've had more than 4 substitutes, and now we're with one of the main teachers that's trying to change the way we learn about how Ms. Rowe taught us to learn last year. That's all. Thank you.
Ashlyn Barrett.
My name is Ashlyn Barrett, and I'm just going to start off by saying I would not be standing up here in front of all these people if it wasn't for Miss Rowe. And Miss Rowe is such an amazing teacher. She taught me in a way that I could actually understand, which has never been I never thought that I'd be able to do that. Miss Rowe always knew what all of her students are capable of, and she expects us to do our best ability. And with Miss Rowe being gone, there's been a really, a lot of people have gone online and just have not been going to school and dropped her class, because who wants to be in a class that you like so much without the teacher that wanted you to be there? And so my class was completely full at the beginning of the school year, and now it has 10 people because no one has the motivation to really go to that class without her being there. As well with the student store, people are super unhappy with that and they're trying to reopen it, but it's not going to be the same and everything is changing about that. And it just has been, it's just been unsuccessful. And we aren't getting the education that we truly deserve because we've gone through teacher after teacher and none of them has stayed and showed that they're dedicated to us. So why do we go to our class again? Yeah, that's me. Thank you for your time.
Jasmine Askew.
Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I'm speaking on Miss Rowe's behalf. And I just wanted to share how much Miss Rowe has meant to me and so many other students. Her absence has affected us in a lot of ways, like learning with different teachers and having to change our whole things just because of her absence. Miss Rowe wasn't like just a teacher to us, she was like someone we could really rely on and really trust. She did a lot for us. And her classroom was like a safe place for us. We would go there, talk to her about anything like we had going on at home, at school. We needed help with this class, we need help with that class. We wanted to do this in our life, and Miss Rowe would help us get to that goal. Miss Rowe helps me in a lot of ways. She helped me get into college classes and helped me get to where I am now. Miss Rowe did a lot for everybody, not just me, and her running the student store, no one's been able to do anything like her. She did so much like for FBLA, the student store, and no one has been able to do her job since she's been gone. And people have tried to do it, but no one can achieve what Miss Rowe has done for us. And she's just helped us learn so many life lessons that are so hard to learn. And people now, even adults, don't even know some stuff that we've learned just in the first business year with Miss Rowe. That's it, thank you.
Carson Moore.
I'm here speaking in regards to Miss Rowe being reinstated as a teacher at Lee Williams High School. In my honest opinion, I think removing her as a teacher was one of the biggest mistakes you guys have ever made for multiple reasons. She is hands down one of the best teachers that not only the school, but the entire school district has ever seen. And when it comes to teaching, I personally never found someone better at it. She will thoroughly explain every topic to a student if they don't understand it, rather than being like countless other teachers and just saying they will get back to it and never going over it again and leaving you stuck and unable to progress in the class. She also will help anyone if they fall behind just to make sure they get done what has to be done. I remember I was struggling to get on track to graduate, and her class was one of the ones I fell behind in, and it was my fault because I just wouldn't go. Despite me not trying and honestly ruining my chances, she would stay longer after school to make sure I could catch up. She would also help me get things in for full credit by extending due dates for the entire class just to make sure everyone got the credit they needed. She didn't just do these things for me. I know there's been countless kids where Miss Rose single-handedly saved the futures of their academics, whether it was staying longer days to help them, or taking longer to explain stuff, or just giving them the motivation to get their stuff done and to learn. I know there have also been countless kids who relied on Miss Rose as well. I remember I would go in at lunch and there would be kids who had no friends sitting in there hanging out with her, as well as after school there would be kids hanging out for a bit because they either didn't have somewhere to go or they just didn't want to go home because of the situation they had. And none of that mattered to Miss Rose because she was always there for everyone no matter what. And without her at the school, I personally can't speak on the changes, but I know, but I know without her at the school, there's those kids that are supposed to be there and truly feel welcome don't have a place to go because Miss Rowe isn't there. One thing that will always stick with me that I love about her is that she will never look at someone for the bad things they've done and will always look for the bright future and then to motivate them rather than bring them down and make them think they will be nothing. She also connects with a lot of students on a very personal level and make them feel like they belong in her class, which is very comforting to a lot of people. I understand Miss Rowe may have done some things that were wrong in your guys' eyes, but at the same time, you guys have to realize that her quote-unquote bad things are nowhere near outweighing the rights. I hope you guys take to heart everything that I've said and get Miss Rowe another chance to bring together Lee Williams and prove to you that giving her another chance is the best thing you'll ever do. That's all. Thank
you. April Twitchell.
deep appreciation for Ms. Rowe, an extraordinary educator whose dedication and passion have a long-lasting impact on my academic journey, particularly in FBLA and my business studies. Ms. Rowe was more than just a teacher. She was a mentor, a leader, and a constant source of encouragement for so many students. Her guidance provided me with countless opportunities to grow, learn, and develop skills that will serve me for years to come. Through her leadership in FBLA, Ms. Rowe opened doors that I never imagined possible. She devoted her time and energy to ensuring that students were well prepared for competitions, helping us refine our public speaking, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. She worked tirelessly to organize events, secure guest speakers, and create opportunities that connect us to the real-world business environment. Beyond the technical skills she taught, she instilled in us confidence, resilience, and a strong work ethic, qualities that are essential in both academics and life. Her absence has left a noticeable void, not only for me, but so many students who relied on her support and expertise. Without her, the FBLA program and business courses feel different. It's a struggle to adjust to. Ms. Rowe had many ways of making each student feel capable and valued, and her departure has made it clear just how much of an impact she had on our school community. Many of us feel the challenge of moving forward without her guidance, as she was the backbone of our success. Her unwavering belief in her students was a driving force behind our achievements, and without her presence, we have to navigate these experiences with much more difficulty. What makes Ms. Rowe truly special is her ability to push beyond what we thought we were capable of making. She cared deeply about her students, not just academically, but personally. She always ensured that we had the resources and encouragement needed to succeed. The lessons she taught extended far beyond the classroom. She prepared us for challenges of the real world and inspiring us to strive for greatness. Thank you.
Bryson Terrell.
I'd just like to start by thanking you guys for having me. Regarding Ms. Rowe, first and foremost, I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank her from the bottom of my heart for the effort, dedication, and commitment she has shown to me and my peers throughout my academic career. On a personal level, Ms. Rowe has impacted my life in countless ways, so many that I can't even begin to explain them all today, all for the greater benefit of both myself and those around me. The opportunities she has created for me and my peers are once things I thought unimaginable when I first decided to take Business 1 with Mr. Rodney Cody during my freshman year. Ms. Rowe single-handedly encouraged me to get involved with FBLA, even though extracurricular activities were far from my interest at the time. That encouragement turned out to be one of the best things that has ever happened to me throughout high school. I can confidently say that FBLA under Ms. Rowe's leadership has taken me to places I never thought I would go and helped me form friendships that will last a lifetime. From attending state conferences during my sophomore and junior years, traveling to national conferences in Atlanta, Georgia, and Orlando, Florida, these are all experiences I never imagined I would have. None of them would have been possible without Ms. Rowe's dedication to leading the club. To me, FBLA is more than just activities. It represents community, leadership, and service, all attributes I didn't know about myself. The work we do, from hosting fundraising game nights to passing out hot dogs and providing Christmas gifts to children in need, truly embodies what it means to be an 11. Becoming a future business leader of America under Ms. Rowe's guidance has truly been a transformative experience. Over the past 2 years, Ms. Rowe has done more than just teach basic business principles. She has instilled real-world applications into her lessons, drawing from her own experiences to bring learning to life in ways that go above and beyond. I would like to end by saying removing Ms. Rowe from the position would be a disservice to me, my peers, and all future students. She has prepared us to become strong leaders in this world and inspires us to strive for something bigger than ourselves and pushes us to achieve greatness. Thank you.
Travis Shaddy.
Hello, I'm here to speak about the absence of Ms. Rowe and how she was as a teacher for me. I'd like to say first though, some people in this room know that when I was a kid I wasn't a good teacher or a good student, but when I first met Ms. Rowe, she changed me. She allowed me to be myself more, and she helped me with everything I needed. I'm on a 405 is what you guys call it, And Ms. Rowe would actually listen to that. She'd be one of those teachers that would. A lot of the teachers didn't. They just kind of said, oh, that doesn't matter. You're in high school now. Don't worry about it. So like, she actually showed that she cared for me. And just like everybody else, Ms. Rowe knows that I was never a kid that liked being in school events until one day she offered me the chance to join FBLA. And it helped me a lot because I realized like in FBLA, speak up, go out, do stuff, learn more stuff, not really just kind of be yourself like I said. And so when Ms. Rowe left, I went online because that was the only class I truthfully went to school for. And I was online, but I stayed in her class, and her absence drove me to also slip and stop going to her class because, like other students have said, not a lot of kids, or a lot of kids enjoyed her class. But without her there, the subs weren't good. They weren't teaching us anything. So I got kicked out of the class because I wasn't there for 10 days. But I told them if Ms. Rowe would to come back, I'd love to be back in her class because that is a teacher that I truthfully feel like is a great teacher for her job. And that's all I want to say. Thank you guys.
Is it Melissa Berkey?
I'm here today to speak on behalf of Ms. Rowe. Ms. Rowe is an amazing teacher. She cares about all of her students and their success, not just in her class, but all of their classes. She has personally helped my daughter with schoolwork when she was struggling to understand her work in other classes. There are only 4 teachers in this district that have taught my kids and actually care about the students and their future. Ms. Rowe is number 1 on my list of 4. She goes above and beyond to help all students with any struggles they may have. I know I've talked to her after hours to set up meetings or to discuss my child's progress. I've sent her emails late at night, not expecting a reply until the next day. And there she was emailing me back right away. I can tell you I'm still waiting on replies to emails to this day from years ago from other teachers in this district. You have teachers in here in this district that belittle, make fun of, and put down students or their disciplinary actions. Better yet, you have a principal, this one gets me, a principal that is in this room tonight at 9 years old told my daughter, if I had a gun with 1 bullet and shot you in the head with it, would that be okay? She's in this room tonight, I saw her. And that one does not go unpunished. How is it that you allow that to happen and then you want to punish Ms. Rowe for making a decision on a mandatory field trip? We should be here discussing how KUSD has failed their students and their staff. Yet again, how many times is this going to happen? As management, I know when I am needed, I am up front and center. Where was Ms. Rowe's support from Ms. Hannon, Ms. Dorner, somebody, so that she was not put in that position to make those decisions? You guys are the ones who let them down, and your staff. You should have supported her and stepped up to help them all, so everyone could go to a mandatory event. Now that Ms. Rowe made it happen for the students, you want to punish a teacher who cares about all students and their success in life. How is that right? Why not punish the admin staff for making sure she was not covered, or make sure she was covered? You will never find a better teacher than Ms. Rowe.
Just so you know. You know, where'd Mr. Pottenberg go? Yesterday he walked into my work. He said, I've seen Travis. The kid has totally changed. I said, that teacher over there, Miss Rowe, she did that. Most of your guys' staff at Lee Williams judged my son Forrest 405 and his older brother Gunner. Most of you all know Gunner. Who doesn't? He was a troublemaker. She changed that boy to be who he is today. Travis wouldn't listen to anybody. He wouldn't stay in classes. He'd run from the authorities. The school would call the cops on him. They wouldn't call me. She took the time to bring that kid out to who he is today. She doesn't deserve any of this. Your guys' staff, the school, Lee Williams, you need to restaff that whole entire school. All of them. Because some of them have called me complaining about my son, saying he's ditching. Did you call the office? No. then how do you know what he's ditching? That staff at that school is absolutely horrible. The only one that cared is sitting right there. And you guys would be a loss if you lose her.
Laura Buckley.
Hello, I am here on behalf of Ms. Rowe, and my daughter Jenna Osborne spoke earlier. I just wrote something out, I'll just read it. My daughter has been with Ms. Rowe for 2 years in her business management class. She possesses a quality that is rare to find in a teacher. Jenna has excelled exponentially and has developed career goals and essential pre-adult life skills that are attributed to Ms. Rowe. I have never experienced any other teacher that has motivated my daughter in the way that this exceptional teacher has. It would be a detriment to my daughter's future educational career if Ms. Rowe continues to be absent from the business management class. We need more teachers with her dedication and devotion and that simply care. It's important that we support and protect teachers that genuinely care, as this is a rarity. I encourage you all to reevaluate your decision and reinstate her position, as this is what's best for my daughter and all the students that are fortunate to cross her path. Thank you.
Michelle Link.
Well, my name is Michelle and my daughter's name is Natalie. I had this thing all wrote out and I was going to say it, but I just want to go off of what other people have kind of said, kind of piggyback. Ms. Rowe has been like the over-the-top teacher that just makes them want to get excited about school again and want to be here. My daughter's had her for 3 years now and has now gone into pass because Ms. Rowe is not here solely because of that in her absence. And I know that she's gone to such lengths to care about not one but all of these kids in so many different levels. It's like we wouldn't even do in our own personal life. The incident leading up to her no longer being a teacher for this time, I think needs to get reevaluated and really take a step back and see where the lack of support on the administration side is because of how it was handled. I can tell you that for that incident, we were told that the principal was going to be giving us a call as parents to kind of like see what was okay, what wasn't okay. I never got a call, never once. And for them to not have a backup person to even drive, like, just kind of blows my mind. Like, the principal himself should have stepped in really and taken advantage of that so that they can take advantage of the educational purpose, because everything she does is educational based. There's nothing that has not been, like, you can take the smallest little thing that doesn't mean anything to anybody, and she's going to find that way to make it to where the kids are going to learn something new and be able to take advantage of it and value it, as in what we're doing today, like right now, like working days, like not something that we weren't not even going to use ever. I don't know, I just feel like with Ms. Rowe not being here, you've lost a lot of kids, and I don't feel that that's okay. Like, we need to be encouraging them and supporting them and not taking away the power that they want to be able to live in their own world and take advantage of all of that. So I feel like Ms. Rowe needs to be number one again, like where she was. It's just my opinion.
Melanie Sinez.
Good evening, my name is Melanie Sines. I'm here to talk on behalf of Ms. Rowe. I would say that for my 3 years that I've had now at Lee Williams, Ms. Rowe has positively impacted my life a lot, especially since I've been kind of like struggling with school. She was always there to help me with like any questions. She would find like a resolution to my problem. She would tell me like, oh, well, you can look at this class, or just find an alternative to like help me. And I would also say like, she just welcomes people and she really helps you, gets comfortable, like, so everybody is comfortable in her class and stuff like that. I would also say that she's just a genuine teacher. She really shows her passion of how much she loves teaching the kids and like just helping them genuinely and setting them up for success. That's pretty much all. And yeah.
Natalie Link.
Hi, my name is Natalie. My mother was Michelle. She pretty much said a lot of what I needed to say, but I'm going to say it again anyways. I've been a student of Miss Rose for the past 3 years, 3 out of 4 years of my high school, and she has actually taught me more than most of my teachers have taught me and helped me actually understand word for word, helped me dumb it down to understand it better. She actually took the time to truly get to know her students and was always willing to help whenever they needed it. Throughout my 12 years of schooling, she was the most caring teacher I had. She created a safe and comfortable space where students felt welcome, whether they needed academic help or were simply just going through a difficult time. She was like a school mom to everyone and was the reason many students wanted to show up to class. I am a student who no longer goes to Lee Williams in person. I go to PASS for the simple reason that Ms. Rowe was not there. I also realized that a lot of students also transferred over to PASS or even went online for the simple reason that Ms. Rowe was not there and all of our teachers were getting lazy. It was basically just you have an assignment online, do your work, whatever. They sat behind the desk on their phones most of the time. Ms. Rowe was also the only teacher I genuinely learned from, and the knowledge she shared was important to not just me, but to my future as well. It was completely unfair for her to almost be losing her job over something that was not her fault. The school district should have provided transportation for our educational field trip instead of prioritizing sports events happening that day. Education should always come first, period. Ms. Rowe went above and beyond to make sure her students felt seen and heard, which was extremely important to us, especially considering that many teachers at Lee Williams no longer put in the effort or teach their students with respect. She was organized, engaging, and made learning fun. Unfortunately, a number of students, including myself, have left Lee Williams because the one teacher who truly understood us and helped us make sense of the world is no longer there. Please allow Ms. Rowe to return to her classroom and continue teaching for many years to come. Every student deserves to have a teacher like Ms. Rowe and deserves to have the opportunity to actually learn what's actually useful to us.
Isaac Ricardo.
Good job.
Dear Governing Board, I am reaching out to you today as a concerned student regarding the tragic events that led to Carmel Rowe being placed on administrative leave. Our business teacher was suddenly taken from us. We had just said goodbye to her during our field trip, only to return the following Monday to find her in her classroom empty, replaced by a substitute teacher. Initially, there was supposed to be one substitute, but that quickly turned into 2, then 3. Throughout this process, we received no information about Ms. Rowe's whereabouts. During this time, students became disengaged from classroom activities. Many spent their time sleeping or on their phones, while substitute teachers would simply say, if you're on your phone, just put it away if admin comes in. Our assignments consisted of repetitive personal finance worksheets covering material we had already learned. You would expect the principal or a teacher to provide answers, but none were given. Students as well as substitute teachers often approached me for information, assuming that as a student, store manager, and an FBLA officer, I had answers. Unfortunately, I had none, and this lack of transparency created immense stress for me and my classmates. We even attempted to contact Ms. Rowe through our school email, but we received no response. It felt as if all the students were left in the dark. Eventually, Ms. Jewett, a permanent substitute, was placed in the classroom for 3 to 4 weeks. She assured us that after winter break, she would remain in class, and that new arrangements would be put in place, neither of which happened. The students in personal finance, business management, and student store management were repeatedly misled about Ms. Rowe's return. The handling of this situation was both unprofessional and mismanaged. As a result of this experience, I made the difficult decision to stop attending Lee Williams High School in person and to resign as the president of Rotary Club. I no longer feel I can work with Ms. Hannon as the principal due to her mismanagement of this situation. While I understand that an investigation took place, that does not justify leaving students confused, frustrated, and disconnected from their education. We needed Ms. Hannon's leadership during this time, but it was absent. Carmel Roll is an outstanding teacher. Speaking as a student who has worked with her through multiple clubs and fundraisers, I can confidently say she is engaging, respectful, and deeply knowledgeable about CTE. More importantly, she genuinely cares about her students. She creates an environment of trust, which is crucial, especially given the unsettling rumors about the teachers being fired from inappropriate behavior within a school. On behalf of myself and my classmates, I formally request that Carmel Rowe be reinstated for the remainder of the school year and renew her contract for next year. I urge Ms. Hannon to reflect on this situation and to improve her approach to handling such matters in the future. No student should be ever left uninformed about their education, and no teacher should be subjected to rumors and uncertainty without clear communication from administration. Thank you.
And then the last one that I have actually has the speaker as Carmel Rowe. Are you coming to speak at Call to Public?
I'm going to save my main speech for later, but there's no way I can sit here and listen to all those kids say all those wonderful things about me and not get it. So I just want to tell you kids that I'm sorry I'm not in the class. I'm very sorry for, making a mistake. And I'm very sorry that you guys are missing me. I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And I'm real proud of the public speaking that you guys did here today. I feel like watching y'all that you guys actually learned something. Thank you to the parents. And thank you to the board for listening. Love you guys.
All right, that will take us to item number 5, reports.
President Henry, members of the board, we have one special event that I want to take care of now, and it is Kingman High School's band. I invite Stephanie Firestone, the band director, and Principal Ward to the podium before my report on high school.
Not sure.
Oh, is he not? Oh, I assumed he was here and waiting.
He was driving over.
Okay. Do you want us to do the high school presentation? Okay. So back to the early college. President Henry, members of the board, I would like to invite Principal Hannon up with 2 of her students from Lee Williams High School who are going to speak to you on some of the opportunities that high school students have as far as advanced learning. As you note in the memo to the board, there's an IGA on tonight's agenda with Mojave Community College, where recently high school counselors, principals, the COLA counselor, administrators, finance directors, and all of their equal partners at MCC met to engage in a conversation regarding early college. Currently, KUSD offers dual credit classes where adjunct faculty who are staff at Kingman High and Lee Williams High School offer those dual credit college courses where you can earn college credit. We have the dual credit online where MCC provides the instructor in an online format on campus and labs where students can learn college credit. We've recently added the instructional time model where students can have a hybrid schedule. There are students at Lee Williams and Kingman High School, and I believe even COLA, where they may have some live classes and then they're offered the opportunity to leave campus. We call that HOP, High School Opportunity Pathway, where some classes are on campus and some classes are on the MCC campus. And we're advancing that one more step and offering seniors at all 3 campuses, COLA, Kingman High, and Lee Williams, the opportunity for early college, and that's what the IGA is about tonight. That means that students going into their senior year at any of the high schools can apply to be a part of the early college cohort. We'd have a district representative at Mojave Community College where the students would take the first course of the day with that instructor, and then the rest of the day they're on a college campus and a college schedule, and at no charge to the families. This is an agreement that we worked through MCC that gives high school students an opportunity for a full year early at college. And just to kind of speak about opportunities for those advanced courses, we have 2 students here. Did you have one here? Kingman High? Why they weren't able to-
President Henry, members of the board, I'm excited tonight to welcome 2 of my students from Lee Williams High School. These students are currently juniors. They've been taking some dual credit classes and taking advantage of some of the opportunities we already offer. And there are 2 students who would be excellent candidates for the early college program next year and would be very interested in that. So I'm just going to introduce them and let them talk to you for just a moment. I have Alexis and Madison with me this evening.
Hello, my name is Alexis Brown and I'm a junior in high school at Lee Williams. I'm a full-time college student, high school student, and on top, working part-time. I'm currently taking 3 dual credit classes on top of 1 outside college class. This program would benefit not only me, but other students that I'm aware of. Myself and others that I've personally spoke to already know what we want to do in life. This will not only help us get an early start, but it saves an extreme amount of money for the people who can't afford college. I believe many high school students overlook opportunities for college because of expenses. My senior year is already almost purely college classes, but I believe a program like this will help me progress into the future I dream of. Opportunities like this can entice students to pursue the college route as well. Education has always been extremely important to me, and I want to spend my time focused on my college classes. I feel as though high school is holding me back from my college path. This program could help me finish my certification in phlebotomy and my associates in science by the time I'm supposed to graduate high school. The early college model improves my life and my peers. Today, you have an opportunity to push students to become greater and help the community become successful as a whole. You can change the lives of students with a program like this because I know it'll change mine. I'm currently in high school and my parents aren't extremely as well off as a lot of other people are. So I already stress about being able to afford college. I've thought about working 2 jobs to be able to afford it, but with a program like this, I could become a forensic medical examiner before the age of 30. I'm looking into the programs, and with this program, I could potentially finish all of my schooling and my residency by the age of 26 to 28, depending on how well I do. This program not only helps me afford college, it makes it a reality for myself, but it can help other students as well. I know a lot of students, especially in our area, are a lot less fortunate, and I believe something like this will help other students look the college route instead of pushing it away. And MCC isn't purely educational classes, it also has trade schools, and I know a lot of students that would be very interested in the trade path. So I feel that this program would benefit me, but also others, as well as our community, due to the educational uprise of all of us. And I feel that high school is kind of holding me back from what I already know I want to do. Your senior year is pretty much, they're just packing in classes that aren't as needed. All of my classes next year are going to be college classes already. Right now, I only take 2 or 3 normal classes, and then the rest are college level. And I feel like it's really just holding me back, and I feel like I can get a jump start and I will be successful. I have almost a 4.1 GPA. I'm graduating in white. I'm looking into scholarships as well. So something like this will really help me and benefit my future. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Madison Deeds. I'm a current junior at Lee Williams High School as well as MCC College. I'm a full-time high school student and college student. I'm taking 2 dual credits right now, but I'm also taking 2 outside college classes. And I'm taking CNA, which is a class that I take on Fridays. I go to school 5 days a week, and I'm at school for more than most people work at this point. And this benefits me tremendously though. I'm able to work towards my future in regards to high school and college at the same time. This early college model shows to be a great convenience that people who already have their career planned out and are ready to experience life full force. I grew up wanting to be a nurse and to have the opportunity to help people because I wanted to be able to go home knowing I saved somebody's mom. I want to go home knowing that I just changed somebody's life or I made them feel better as a person. I now have the opportunity to chase my dreams and not be held back because of finances and my age. It's hard with high school. It's hard being a full-time college student as well as high school student. And this model will help me next year so that I'm able to manage my time wisely, but I'm also able to still be a teenager. It's hard when you're going to school as it is a full-time job, but I'm a hard worker. I'm graduating in white. I have a 4.0 GPA in college, and this will help me tremendously achieve my goals. I will be able to become a BSN, which is a bachelor's in nursing, and I'll be able to achieve that by the time I'm 20 or 21, when most people don't even achieve that until they're 25, 24. This program not only benefits me, but our whole community. Early college models promote success as well as opportunities for others who do not have their life planned to explore their options. For people who do not know what they want to do, they're able to take this opportunity and they're able to explore, hey, maybe I want to go into nursing, but then they're able to find out, hey, that's not what I want to do, and I want to transfer to something else, and they're able to have this opportunity without living in debt for the rest of their lives. Starting my degree now saves me 2 years. Think about all the others who will be able to explore life while having their degree at a young age. This program will push students toward a successful path. Many students prove that they are ready to pursue their aspirations, and you have the opportunity to encourage the young minds of today. I am set for a path to allow me to enter nursing school once I graduate, and the benefits of dual credit and WAVE have made this possible. This model will be a step towards prosperity for this community. If I got this opportunity, it would allow me to achieve my dreams sooner than I thought possible. It is incredibly important for this opportunity to present itself so students may avoid debt, and for students who never had the option for college now do. And I want to thank you all for your time and to listening to my speech, and that's all.
To round out my report, I just want to echo something Mr. Bear talked about, which is our Reimagine High School Committee. Based on the 200+ students that attended the town halls between Kingman High and Lee Williams High School, some of the other strategies that are under discussion are hybrid schedules, college-like schedules. We do have a committee of principals, counselors, career coaches, academic advisors, MCC advisors. And the next meeting, Mr. Bear, is tomorrow, where a lot of decisions and communication will be made. We're really happy about what we're doing, and I want to add one thing. We haven't worked it out yet, but we're really excited about crossing the bridge between Kingman High and Lee Williams High School. Both Principal Hannon and Principal Ward, our CTE coordinator, and a lot of our teachers are interested in, if a student at Lee Williams wants culinary or a student at Kingman High wants the fire science, that we're aligning schedules so they will be able to take classes across the district that follows their personalized pathway instead of just being locked in by what's available on their campus. So those are the kinds of things that we're talking about. I want to commend, since I have the floor, all of the students who spoke this evening. Very professional, well-spoken, articulate. Your voice always matters in important situations, so I would like to commend all of you and the last two speakers as well. Very good, very well done. So, is your person here? Okay. I think we'll just have to wait until the Prestons are here, and perhaps you can let us know and we'll fit it in.
All right, so we'll come back to that as soon as our special guests arrive. This brings us to item number 6, the approval of routine orders of business. Are there any items that we would like to have pulled from the consent agenda? I am going to pull item number J. And then can there be a motion then to accept items A through I of the consent agenda?
I move to accept items A through I.
I can second that motion.
All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
So I pulled item J. This is to approve the out-of-state travel for Kingman High School's Hispanic Student Union Club, which includes 7 students and 1 staff member, take a field trip to the Flamingo Wild Habitat and Fantasy Lab in Las Vegas, Nevada on February 20th through 2025. I had not heard of the Fantasy Lab. I was familiar with the Flamingo, so I did an online search, and I don't know if there's someone here. I just want to make sure it's the one that is free for the colors of Mexico.
Yes.
And not one of the other 3 or 4 that you can find on Google.
Yes.
I could have made that assumption, but I wanted to clarify that.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes.
Then I will make a motion to approve item number J. Is there a second?
I will second that motion, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Item number 7, approve proposed MOU for work-based learning experiences for students enrolled in the Kingman Unified School District CTE programs.
President Henry and members of the board, if approved, this template memorandum of understanding, or MOU, will serve as the foundation for agreements between KUSD and community businesses, which will enable students to participate in work-based learning experiences within the Kingman, or the KUSD community. This initiative directly supports KUSD's priority of preparing students for college and careers by providing hands-on experiences in fields that they aspire to pursue. The MOU will be incorporated into the KUSD Work-Based Learning Experience Handbook and has been reviewed and approved by legal counsel.
Any questions? I want to say thank you for the continued moving forward in all of these directions for our students to be successful. So thank you for that. And is there a motion then to approve the proposed MOU?
I make that motion.
And I will second it.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to item number 8, to approve the IGA between Mojave Community College and Kingman Unified School District outlining the early college program beginning in fiscal year 26 for qualifying high school students.
President Henry, members of the board, you have a copy of the IGA. If approved, this will move forward to our legal team for review, and then MCC would also put theirs forward for legal review before signatures are gathered and we launch. If you have any questions on the IGA that outlines our responsibilities and roles and MCC's responsibility and roles, I'm happy to answer.
I've got a question. How does this differ from the dual credit things that we're currently already involved with, aside from location planning to
Great
NCC?
questions. Dual credit is a class where Lee Williams or Kingman High School teachers are teaching the class. They're considered adjunct faculty. You take it on the regular campus during the regular schedule, so your attendance is counted as a Lee Williams or Kingman High School student. The college, we pay the instructor, obviously they're our teacher, so it's solely high school based, and there's no transfer in of credits. They're limited to the classes that are dual credit on the campus. The model, and we're following what some refer to as the Vail model, because Vail School District really was the first to really fully endorse this model. That's an early college, means they can take any classes on the college that are taught by a Mojave Community College. We pay for we retain their revenue, the membership, and we use that money to pay for their credits, which is why there's no cost. The dual credit is a wash. There's no money really exchanged at early college. We pay for their credits. They take the classes on the campus with all MCC instructors except for the one high school class.
And it covers all classes that MCC offers, trade to college?
Yeah. They would need to, the students would need to apply and be accepted. There will be a cohort. We don't have a number necessarily or a cap on the cohort at this amount. It depends on what the 3 high schools tell us, but their ADM, we've done the math. We had our finance director and their finance director in our collaboration. The money that we receive on behalf of the students will fully cover easily the cost of them being in college classes. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just have one additional question. Working with students under the age of 18 is different than working with students over the age of 18.
Correct.
Are the MCC professors and instructors receiving appropriate training on the differences and what is and is not appropriate?
Well, I mean, we collaborate on an incredibly regular basis. We work with MCC lockstep all year long, and as the 2 young ladies spoke, they're already in MCC college classes, I'm guessing outside of the traditional day as well.
Yes.
And so it's not new for MCC. They're very familiar with the students that are coming from the high school. So to answer your question, yes, they are prepared. There's also an MCC, I know there's been a few title changes, so I'll look at Director Alvin for a minute. Tiffany Gaffney with MCC works on the high school campuses, and I think she has a new representative who's also named Tiffany that works on the high school campuses with the students to prepare them, and then with the staff at MCC to make sure they're prepared.
Thank you.
Any others?
Nope.
My question had just had to do with, you mentioned earlier about MCC drafting theirs and having legal counsel look at theirs.
It's the
So-
same one.
Okay. So
Exactly.
it's-
Yeah. They actually wrote the IGA for us,
Okay.
for our collaborative team, so there's one. There's one document between both entities.
Any other discussion? Is there then a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Mojave Community College and Kingman Unified School District?
I so move.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I can second that motion.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, to approve a new course for high school level athletic leadership and success.
President Henry, members of the board, Lee Williams High School is bringing this course to the KOSD School Board for approval to begin in school year 25-26. As stated in the course description, this is a semester-long course for student athletes to develop their leadership and sportsmanship skills. Since KOSD supports the 4A's academics, athletics, arts, and activities, approving this course supports students on their athletic pathway. The curriculum will include various resources, including those on the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletics Association website. If the course is adopted, that curriculum will be piloted for the 25-26 school year and then brought to the curriculum committee to be considered for adoption by the KOSD school board. And we do have Mr. Don Dowdy here, who is bringing this course to Lee Williams. If you have any additional questions, either I or he can answer them.
Are there any questions? Comments?
Is this sort of like a physical education course almost?
I'll let Mr. Dowdy take that question.
Answer your question, sir. No, it would not be a PE course. It would be solely a one-semester elective, and it would be classroom focused, really focused on positive mindset, leadership, sportsmanship, and a lot of other attributes that would go along with creating some student athletes as leaders.
Very good. And is there a motion to approve the new course for high school level?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, to approve a proposed name change to existing CTE course.
President Henry, members of the board, the CTE program is bringing this course title change to the board in order to align with the course program from the Arizona Department of Education. If approved, this course title change would be made to all 3 of the current courses that are called Early Childhood Professions. The Early Childhood Education Instructional Program prepares students for entry-level employment, further training, and/or post-secondary education for these and other occupations: preschool teacher, daycare worker, paraprofessional, instructional assistant, after-school program assistant, and kindergarten teacher.
Are there any questions? Then is there a motion to approve the name change?
I will approve the name change.
A second.
All right. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
President Henry, members of the board, would you mind if we paused and went back to our
Yes.
regularly
That would
scheduled
be
program?
Wonderful.
Principal Ward. What we're going to do is make a presentation in here and then invite the board out to step out front for a quick musical presentation.
So President Henry, members of the board, so we want to take this time, Kingman High School wants to take this time to acknowledge Mr. Preston here for a generous donation that he gave to our marching band. And so we have a couple of things that we made for him. These were all generated, student generated and created at our school. So this plaque here that we're going to give to you, you can hang up. And so it has a quote on here, music can change the world because it can change people. And so this was created right in our wood shop. So thank you. So we are going to hang a banner on our front fence. down Bank Street for everyone to see. And so this banner was also created by our graphic design, I'll turn around here in a second, graphic design students, and then printed right at KHS. And so 5 stars. And, here's the banner.
Yeah. You guys hold the banner.
If you could please step outside, we have the KHS marching band, our award-winning marching band, ready to play our school fight song for you to celebrate this spectacular moment.
You'll see this on our offense.
extend our thanks to your students for coming and waiting for us to be able to head outside and for
Yeah,
their
no, thank you
performance. We appreciate it. We love to see what they're doing. And the banner, the plaque, just, it's wonderful to see the students doing what they enjoy doing. So thank you again. So that will take us now to item number 11 on the regular agenda. A book to be displayed for the required 60 days starting today, February 11th, 2025. A novel for the elementary 5th grade level, I Survived the American Revolution.
President Henry, members of the board, this novel was presented to the curriculum committee on January 21st. Wallapai Elementary 5th grade teacher Mrs. Dunn presented how the novel would be used to support instruction on the 5th grade social studies standards. After reviewing Mrs. Dunn's proposal, the curriculum committee voted to bring the novel to the board for possible approval. The novel goes on display for the required 60 days in order for the public to review and make comments. This novel will come back to the board at the April 11th board meeting for approval.
Thank you. That brings us to item number 12, to approve the TCP software, formerly Time Clock Plus, to continue as sole source vendor for time tracking software and support.
President Henry, members of the board, the district would like to keep TCP software as a sole source vendor for time tracking software and support. Back in 2015, the district made the switch over to TCP for our payroll software. Employees use TCP to clock in and out daily and to put in time off requests. Classified coordinators and administrators can view hours, track missed punches, and approve requests for leave. The payroll coordinator works for Magic to process payroll on a bi-weekly schedule. TCP is integrated with Visions, also known as Tyler Technologies, which is part of the group of sole source vendors that you approved several months ago that are intertwined, which is Frontline Placement, Power School Group, and Tyler Technologies. They all work together for the district. Changing just one of these would affect the platform that HR and finance rely on daily. Annually, the district spends $25,400 for TCP software. The district requests for your approval of TCP software as a sole source vendor.
Any questions? There's a motion to approve the TCP software to continue as a sole source vendor.
I move to approve.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 13, approve recommendation to acquire the services of ALLO for district-wide area network fiber connectivity and construction, excluding Mount Tifton Elementary.
President, members of the board. So this project would replace all of the fiber connections between all of our schools and is not the internet connection. This project would be using E-rate funds, which would be at 90% discount to us, so we're only paying 10% of the total cost. It would be excluding Mount Tipton specifically because of the exorbitant amount of cost that it would even, the E-rate project would burden maybe too much. The district would have to cover most of that cost. The reason for this being is our current solution, Optimum, the reliability and sustainability of it has been lacking. The communication with the company has been lacking as well, so we went out to bid through the E-rate program, and I had done it and to my own employees go over evaluations for everybody that applied, and we settled on ALLO as the best solution, partially because their construction costs were the lowest out of all that applied, and also because we have a good working relationship with them.
Does the board have any questions?
Is this a direct cable between all of the district buildings? Is that
So technically, yes. Basically what they're offering is called a ring topology. So there's a fiber cable that goes into the building from one end and then out the other. So then it interlinks all of our locations. If there's anything that happens to any of the cables in between, they will not go down because they have that other link.
Okay.
So currently what we're experiencing is locations like Black Mountain Middle School or Black Mountain School. Whenever anything happens to the fiber going out there, the entire school is down until Optimum can send out someone to fix the problem. And this is hoping to not only remedy that situation, but also prevent that for any of our other schools, the rest of the district.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, then is there a motion then to approve this recommendation?
I will make the motion to approve the recommendation going with ALLO.
I'll second it. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, approve a recommendation to continue through fiscal year 2025 with ALLO as the district's internet service provider.
Yes, so this is separate from fiber. This line directly comes into the IT office on 690 Spring Street, and this is what provides the bandwidth connection out to the internet. So we currently have them as a service. We moved to them last year due to problems with Optimum at the time as well. We had gone out to E-rate, followed the same evaluation process as the main project, and it settled on ALLO as the internet service provider. So this would just be us recommending that the district remove with ALLO again.
No questions, I will motion to approve that.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 15, approve recommendation to acquire services of Sentinel to provide network equipment for the district.
Yes, so this is another E-rate project at a discounted cost to the district. This would be replacing a good 2/3 of our network equipment across the district. That is due to that equipment nearing end of life, which means it will no longer receive vulnerability updates. So to protect the district and get ahead of that a little bit, we submitted a E-rate request, settled on Sentinel as the best option, and would like to get this approved by the board to replace that network equipment, so we are still in a good position.
I noticed in the paperwork that was submitted, there's not actually a cost in there, so I know it's the 90/10, but will there be a time when a cost will be presented?
So there are specifically two different categories of E-rate. Networking equipment falls under the second category. We are also on a 90/10, 10% cost of the district as of recently, actually. So the total cost would come out to about $32,000 to the district for around $350,000 worth of equipment.
Any other questions?
Just out of curiosity, what is E-rate network? What is E-rate?
E-rate is a state program, basically, where they provide a certain amount of funds every 5 years that school districts can take advantage of. They have to go through an evaluation process to acquire those services. You have to be fair. During that evaluation process, you have to weigh cost as the highest point category, and then you can have any other number of categories that they just have to be less points than the cost of eligible services. So E-rate itself is a way for more rural school districts or school districts that have more ELL students or school districts that have more students on lunch programs to be able to pay for things that they normally wouldn't, such as fiber, internet, and network equipment.
Great. I will make the motion to approve the Sentinel.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Item number 16, approve a recommendation to continue on a month-to-month basis with Optimum service for the wide area network fiber connectivity specifically for Black Mountain School.
Yes, so this is separate than the wide area network that was previously brought up. The reason we were saying month to month on Black Mountain is because currently it is the only school that requires construction from ALLO to get out there. So between now, or between when their service starts and actually getting that construction complete, we would like to continue on a month-to-month basis, specifically for Black Mountain, at which point we would transition over to ALLO once construction is complete.
Do they have an estimated time of how long the construction is going to take?
So funds still have to be approved after evaluations are done. They have to go to a department called USAC, and they approved funds. If they approved it as of last week, it would be done by June 30th, 2025. So depending on when it gets approved, it could take a couple months before it does get approved. Once that is done, then it would be maybe 4 months from then.
Is there a motion then to approve the recommendation to continue month to month with Optimum for Black Mountain?
Yeah, I can make that motion to keep it going.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 17 is to approve the listed donations.
I'll motion to approve the listed donations.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any comments or questions?
Thank you to all of those that have donated to our schools.
Yes. Yes, we double and triple that, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Item number 18 is possible action to approve the language of employment contracts and at-will notices for the 2025-2026 school year.
President Henry and members of the board, staff anticipates sending out employment contracts and at-will notices of employment for the 2025-26 school year on or about March 25th, 2025. To accomplish this, district staff have worked in collaboration with the law firm of Gust Rosenfeld to review and modify the district's employment contracts and notices for the 2025-26 school year. All suggested changes by Gust Rosenfeld are visible in each of the templates included within your packets. District staff recommend the governing board approve the district's 2025-26 draft contracts and notices as presented in the packets. And I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Seems pretty straightforward to me.
It's pretty straightforward. Just in reference to what's brought up, do we have any outline for the block schedule over right here?
Yeah, there are several iterations of a possible block schedule.
How will that be portrayed in the contract if it?
It doesn't change the hours of any staff, so it wouldn't be a part of the contract.
So would the contracts be issued before or after the block schedule decision?
After.
Okay.
Perfect. I'll motion to approve the language of the employment contracts and at-will notices for the 2025-26 school year.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item number 19 is possible action to engage the services of Peggy Starkey as a first grade teacher at Surratt Elementary School as a leased employee through Educational Services, Inc. for the 25-26 school year.
President Henry and members of the board, for items 19 and 20, we have two valued longtime staff members who have expressed their desire to retire with ASRS at the end of their current employment contracts and then return for the 2025-26 school year in their current positions as leased employees through ESI. They are Deborah Talk, English teacher at Lee Williams High School, and Peggy Starkey, first grade teacher at Surratt Elementary School. Collectively, the two employees have approximately 50 years of experience serving this community. Staff recommend the governing board approve the requests of Ms. Talk and Ms. Starkey to continue working in their current positions in the 2025-26 school year as leased employees through Educational Services, Inc.
Do we have any comments or questions? Do we need to make a motion separately, or can we make the motion together?
Probably separately, please.
Okay. So is there then a motion to accept Peggy Starkey as a leased employee through Educational Services, Inc.?
I can make that motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And then item number 20, to approve Deborah Talk to be a leased employee through Educational Services.
I move to accept Deborah Talk as a leased employee.
Seconded.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for your years of service. Item number 21 is a possible motion to move into executive session per ARS 38-431.03A1 to discuss requests to be released from employment by Richard Fouch and Michelle Lee.
I make a motion to move into executive session.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. We will move into executive session.
So maybe going, this is
I'll make the motion to reconvene.
The regular session, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So that will bring us to item number 23. I apologize. As per ARS 38-431.03, the governing board may hold an executive session for the specific purposes outlined in statute, including discussion and consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, demotion, dismissal, salaries, disciplining, and resignation of an employee. Through the executive session, board members are able to obtain additional information important to making informed votes. It is unlawful to disclose or otherwise divulge to any person not in the executive session, other than a current member of the board, or pursuant to a specific statutory exception, anything that has transpired or was discussed during the executive session. Only the vote on the action item itself is made during the public portion of the meeting, unless the employee themselves demand the discussion or consideration occur in a public meeting. Thank you to all those in attendance and who are watching the meeting offsite for staying with us while we gathered additional information. We have now reconvened into regular session for any action resulting from the executive session and are looking for a motion relative to item number 23, possible action on a request by Richard Fouch, teacher, to be released from his fiscal year 2024-25 employment contract effective February 20th, 2025. I make the motion from the board to deny the request to be released from contract and instruct the employee to work with staff to fulfill the contract. If they choose not to, there will be the imposition of fees and a reporting to the state. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 24, possible action on a request by Michelle Luby, teacher, to be released from her fiscal year 2024-25 employment contract effective March 6th, 2025. I make the motion to deny the request to be released from contract and instruct the employee to work with staff to fulfill their contract. If they choose not to, there will be imposition of fees and reporting to the state. Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That brings us to item number 25, a possible action to move into executive session per ARS 38-431.03A1 to discuss the proposed non-renewal of Carmel Row. And it is my understanding, that you requested for it not to be an executive session, but to be held in a public setting. I'm asking if that is still your desire.
That is my desire.
And we will remain in regular session.
Okay, so I first want to make sure that you guys received the packets that I gave you, the emails that I've sent you, and that you listened to the thumb drives I provided.
Yes.
Okay. So, honorable members of the governing board, my name is Carmel Rowe, and I am here today not just to advocate for myself, but for my students, my colleagues, and the integrity of this district. I've spent my time at Lee Williams High School building a strong and effective business program, providing students with hands-on learning, leadership opportunities, and career preparation that will benefit them long after they leave these halls. My sudden removal has jeopardized their education, disrupted their future, and undermined the very mission the board claims to uphold. Let me be clear. I made an unintentional mistake, and I take responsibility for it. However, I was placed in an impossible situation, one created by years of administrative neglect and a failure to provide the basic resources needed for student success. For 3 years, I have raised concerns about transportation for career and technical student education, yet no meaningful action has been taken. The district passed over my bus request, forcing me into a situation where students had to drive themselves. Something I was never properly trained or informed was against policy. Then when the issue arose, I was reassigned a home without a clear explanation, denied due process, and told I had no right to appeal because my removal was labeled as non-disciplinary. I ask you, if this is non-disciplinary, then what is disciplinary? The actions of the superintendent, Dorner, Principal Hannon, and HR Director, Angela, violate multiple board policies. The first policy is Policy EE, Transportation Services. The district is responsible for ensuring safe, equitable student transportation. Instead, it failed to provide a bus for a mandatory co-curricular event, putting me in a position where I had to make a judgment call. Policy GBEA, Staff Ethics. Administrators are required to act with integrity and fairness. Instead, they misrepresented events, withheld information, and shifted blames to protect themselves. Policy CA, Administrative Goals. The administration is supposed to support educators. Instead, I was left with no guidance, no resources, and no opportunity to defend myself. Policy AD, Educational Material. The board has a duty to ensure students receive a stable, high-quality education. Since my removal, my students and 179 other students have been left in limbo, their education suffering as the district scrambles to fill gaps with unqualified substitutes. Beyond policy violations, this situation has harmed the very people we are all here to serve, the students. My students have lost weeks of valuable instruction. They have been forced to watch their hard work unravel with no explanation other than the bureaucratic mismanagement. Over 300 students have left Lee Williams High School for online learning this year, a clear sign that they see no leadership, no consistency, and no investment in their futures. Yet I sit at home, paid to do nothing, while chaos unfolds in my absence. How does this benefit the district? How does this serve the taxpayers? Most importantly, how does this serve my students? I'm asking for 2 actions from the board here today. 1, to immediately reinstate me to my classroom. My students deserve stability, and I deserve the opportunity to continue doing the job that I was hired to do. I also ask for you to launch an independent investigation to the actions of Superintendent Dorner, Principal Hannon, and HR Director Angela Morsetti. The board has a responsibility to ensure its policies are enforced consistently and fairly, not used as weapons of retaliation or mismanagement. This is not just about my career. It's about fairness, accountability, and the future of the students we are all supposed to serve. The district failed me, but more importantly, it failed our kids. So I urge you today to take action to correct the injustice that has been served. I also have one other thing. Also, I want to thank everyone who attended today and for all the truths that were shared. I do sincerely apologize to my students for my mistake and to Principal Hannon and Gretchen Dorner for placing liability on them and the district. If I could do it over again, I would have understood that someone could call Gretchen, and if someone failed to call Gretchen, I could call Gretchen. And she has the authority to designate anyone to drive the microbus or district vehicle. I made a mistake, but it was one that could have been addressed without disciplinary action. In QCQF disciplinary suspension and dismissal of professional staff members, non-disciplinary action consists of letters of memorandums directed to a classified staff member containing directives or instructions for future conduct, counseling of a certified staff member concerning expectations of future conduct. In my last meeting with Angela, she called my actions egregious. In case you don't know what the word egregious means, it means extremely bad or shocking to the conscience. You heard today, it wasn't extremely bad. The reasonable man would say that that was reasonable and it was not shocking to the conscience. Maybe it was in violation of board policy, but nobody in this room is unguilty of violating board policy. And so if my behavior was so egregious, why was I placed on non-disciplinary action? And why was my right to due process taken from me? Why did I not receive a letter or memorandum, and why was I not counseled? Why have I been placed on administrative reassignment, and why has my contract been submitted to the board for non-renewal? Why are my students derailed, And why is their work going up in flames? Why am I not permitted to do a job I love and a job I am highly effective at? Now, I have given you guys a lot of information. I've provided a lot of information. I've gone back and forth with Ms. Henry. And the last time that the board was going to convene on this, my son was playing football in the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. So this meeting was postponed. But she told me that the only part of the agenda item that she was able to see is it said that I endangered a student or students. In no way did I endanger a student or students. Okay, I am very responsible. My students are very responsible. I was very responsible with my actions, and I ensured that all of them returned safely. There was not a parent complaint. There was not a person called. There was not an accident, and there was nothing that caused the district liability. The fact of it is that now you have 179 students, plus another 179 students from another teacher that you pulled out, which is over 350 students, that the district is now liable for mismanaging their education. That is a bigger mistake and a bigger lapse in judgment than anything I ever did. Like I told Gretchen, like I told Angela, Principal Hannon wasn't there. I am sorry. I would never do this again. If I would have known these rules, I would have followed them. If I would have thought my students would be without their teacher, this would not even be an issue. I volunteered to say, hey, I'll sign any piece of paper you want, I'll do whatever you want. Instead, Gretchen, she pretty much dismissed me and told me this meeting is over. And it kind of made me feel unappreciative and unthanked for the actual work that I do, for the actual work that I've done, for the actual time that I put into the school district. You know, I've worked from 7:30 to 10:30 at night. I've had the janitor knock on my door at midnight and tell me, Miss Rowe, don't you think you should go home trying to get grades in? I work on Sundays, use my own car and my own gas money and my daughter and her own car and her own gas money to go to Sam's Club for the student store because nobody can ever give me a vehicle or a bus or a van. And finally, when they did give me a bus this year, the microbus, somebody forgot to give me the gas card and I put $40 of my own gas money in it. Now, I didn't ask for that because I'm not here about the money. I don't care about the money. If you listen to those recordings, you will hear that every single time I asked from day one to day November 25, I wanted to know who was teaching my students. What was going on with my students? What was going on with my class? Okay, my classroom actually got $20,000 in new classroom desks and chairs for me. Okay, my contract was going to be renewed. Okay, I think Tim left. Oh, Tim's still here. But we got 30 or 40,000, maybe 50,000, depends on how much they end up to cost. Brand new computers for me in my class. Okay, because I asked, because I fought. We finally got a new cash register and we're ready to take credit cards because I fought in the student store and now we can't even use it. You guys have put my students and their business in well, not you guys, but the district, put them in bankruptcy without even giving them a chance or a choice. Okay, if there's any questions you problem when you label termination, which this is exactly what this is, as non-disciplinary. Okay, according to your guys' rules that I was given, GCQF from Angela, the only way that a non-renewal is not discipline is if I had not been here for the majority of 3 years. I've been here for two and a quarter years in my classroom, building an A+ program, taking care of these kids, caring about these kids. Okay, and it's not right. I'm going to tell you why I've been gone, why I've been on vacation. Well, not vacation. I call it house arrest, if you ask me. I call it permanent reassignment to home, AKA house arrest. But why I've been there, I've actually am getting ready to open my own business. My daughter's getting ready to open her business. We've rehabbed a building. Okay, I mean, I've been sitting at home, but I've been able to pay. I've sold a piece of property. I've collected a $20,000 paycheck. Okay, so I'm not here saying, hey, Miss Rowe needs her job. Miss Rowe doesn't need her job. Miss Rowe needs to educate the future. Okay, Miss Rowe needs to educate future business leaders. That's what Miss Rowe needs. Miss Rowe needed her class to not be disrupted. This was going to be the best year. We were going to have a food truck festival. We had so many things planned. We were going to take FBLA State by the store. We were all coming home because this is going to be the 3rd year. This was going to be my best year as a teacher. So imagine if the 2 years previous, if they were not at 100%, imagine what this year was gonna be. And instead, by a mistake that I wholeheartedly admit I made, okay, which is only one mistake. I got a bunch, well, I didn't even get this because nobody gave me any papers. I had to get a public records request to even find out what was said about me, which were lies, half statements, and misstatements of truth, okay? The only thing I did was that I arranged for students to transport themselves and other students in personal vehicles to and from a school-sponsored FBLA field trip in Phoenix on October 17th. That's all I did. Maybe I put the district in jeopardy, maybe I put them in liability, maybe I put Ms. Hannon in liability. But at the end of the day, no liability was had, and no parent has complained. Now, in the information that I was giving in my public records request, I did find lies, I did find misstatements of truth, I did find half statements of truth. Okay, my student Bryson Terrell's mom gave 100% permission for his car to be driven to Phoenix, and in the findings it says it wasn't. His mom wrote a letter, I actually did turn that in to Ms. Henry in one of the complaints. I do have a copy, I only have one copy of it, so if you need that, I can provide it, or I can, someone can make a photocopy. Also, there's information in there that says, oh, Haley's grandma's upset and I'm gonna retaliate on a student. I can guarantee you right now, I'm never gonna retaliate on a student. I would never retaliate on a student. And as a matter of fact, Haley's grandmother called the next week and said, hey, we don't want the teacher in trouble and don't question my kid. So all the things that they are trying to use and that they were trying to dig up as a witch hunt against me are 100% false, and I 100% object to every single finding. Now, they also said that I demonstrated that I didn't take responsibility for my actions. I am here before the board right now taking responsibility for my actions. I 100% without asking did allow students to drive theirself with their parents' permission. I did that. If I would have known that that was not an option or that I needed to get permission from Gretchen, I would have 100% done that. But at the end of the day, I didn't jeopardize any student. I didn't harm any student. I didn't hurt any student. And by me not being in my classroom has hurt a lot more students than that drove themselves. So if you have any questions for me, I'm ready to answer them. If you don't, fine. But if you do, I'm here.
I do have the full packet and all of the information that Mrs. Rowe has provided to me, if you guys are wanting to see any of that. So just what we received in our board packet was a very good summary. And then, of course, the additional packets that we received individually.
I do have a question. It's been stated a couple of times that this was a mandatory field trip. Could you clarify that for me?
Yes, it's co-curricular activities. CTSO is a mandatory part of CTE.
Okay.
So,
can you clarify the acronyms? I don't understand. Yes. I don't know what CTSO is.
Okay, a CTSO is a career and technical, a career and technical student organization.
Okay.
And CTE is career technical education. Okay. And so in my business class, it is mandatory that we participate in a CTSO, which is FBLA. Okay, we are mandated to attend field trips. We are mandated to attend regionals and to attend state. Now, that doesn't mean I can say to all these kids, I have to force you to go. But I have to offer the opportunity. Now, when I got hired here at KUSD, nobody gave me any guidance. Nobody told me how to do my job. Lucky for me, my kids were in Mr. Cody's class, okay? Mr. Cody sat with me at the Bear Diner from about 9 o'clock in the morning till about 6 o'clock at night. And he explained to me FBLA, he explained to me my responsibilities, he explained to me my duties, he explained to me about the student store. Okay, and he helped me, okay, which is something I could have done for these substitutes. I've been not allowed to talk or not allowed to give assignments. I mean, I'm sitting at home collecting a paycheck, I had everybody on Canvas. You guys are passing all these things today about wave and dual credit and all of this and all of that. My class was using Canvas. My class was prepared for these pathways, okay? So basically, sorry to get off your question, but Basically, the field trips are mandatory, that I provide them for the children. It's not mandatory that the children themselves choose to go. However, once you get them out of your shell, as you heard today, it's been one of the best things that have ever happened to them. So these field trips, actually, if you look through the board policy, which I have now because I've had 4 months on house arrest, if you actually look through the board policy and the transportation, it actually says not optional, co-curricular activities. Okay, so I should have been provided a bus. My first year teaching, we were all set to go to this event, FBL Lay on Fire, which is the same one that we're talking about now. About a week maybe before, a couple weeks before, all of a sudden we don't have a bus. And it was Ms. Fortrell who was supposed to put in the bus. I was a new teacher, I was just trying to get everybody registered and in, okay? And then we didn't have a bus. And then I asked Cassie for help about a bus. And then it was this whole big ordeal, and we couldn't get a charter bus.
This isn't this particular.
No, this is the first time.
This is.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've read all that in the packet.
Okay.
My other question is, who mandates attendance or offering of who is it mandated by?
The State Board of Education, Arizona State Board of Education.
So it's an ADE regulation, it's not in state statute, is that correct?
Correct. It is, I mean, it's, if you read on ADE, it's on their website, if you go to these things, if you.
I'm just trying to clarify where they.
The Arizona State Board of Education.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And they don't offer any alternatives? I mean, you have to offer them and the students don't have to go. How does that make it extremely mandatory?
Well, it's mandatory for me to offer it. It's mandatory for the district to have it. It's mandatory for, in my class, for me to educate people about FBLA and to give them that opportunity.
Any other questions?
I'm trying to understand this whole mandatory thing. For the simple fact that you just said it's your mandatory?
No, it's mandatory from the Arizona State Board of Education. This is a mandatory part of my curriculum. CTSOs are called co-curricular and co-curricular activities.
So, say everything else went different, you had a bus, it broke down. What happens at that point? Is it, there's no other options to take a different one? Or if the bus isn't available, you can't say, guys, this is not gonna happen, here's another one we can take. I don't understand, is it like literally once a year they have to be at this event, or
So
they,
literally
what,
once
fail?
literally, it's not that they fail. It's that I fail, okay? If I do not take these children or offer these children these events, I am not doing the job per the Arizona State Department of Education. In your guys' KUSD policy manual, okay, which I have a whole bunch of pages here, but if I had maybe 10 minutes that I was sitting down, I could actually find for you where it says in your own policy manual that co-curricular activities are not optional. In what Lindsay Woolsey provided, Lindsay Woolsey actually said they're not optional. Okay? Now, if a student is not going to attend or participate, there is something else that I can have them do while we are on a field trip. But my class is 51% lab. Okay? I am not allowed to just get up and lecture and say, do your schoolwork. No. It has to be hands-on. It has to be hands-on learning. Okay, so this field trip was the second time we've had a problem. The first time we forfeited our money. This was $1,890 that these kids raised, or that KRMC donated, or that Preston Investments donated. Okay, that we already have to pay for. Once we agree to go, once we vote to go, once we have our minutes approved and we all register, someone has to pay for it. So if we're not able to go, we waste district funds. Now, if a bus broke down, I'm sure that's a different situation, right? We made an attempt. Okay, we were on our way. But a lot of times if a bus breaks down, they send another bus, and most of the time we leave early enough because of how you have to have the bus drivers off for 8 hours before they can actually pick you up, that we're there plenty of time, that even if a bus broke down, we probably still would have got there on time.
Okay, so say that a bus doesn't break down and an event happens where someone calls in sick, would that not have constituted the exact same, we tried? There was extenuating circumstances that caused this to not happen. In turn, would that mean your first thought should not be, I should maybe take this up a level from this to executive before you just jump to students who can drive?
So I didn't just jump to anything.
Well, okay, you didn't jump to it, but these events obviously unfolded.
What happened is that at the beginning of the year, I put in all bus requests. I put them in weeks before school started for every single FBLA event, so I would not have a problem. I was told I was gonna have a bus, which this is not the first time. And then all of a sudden, I was called saying, you can't have a bus because there's too many athletic events. And you guys are gonna have to drive the microbus. So there's 2 microbuses. I asked Miss Woolsey, Rachel, if she would be willing to drive because she's like the other advisor. And reluctantly, she agreed. She didn't really want to be a driver. She's kind of scared to drive the bus, okay? I assured her it was nothing. I took it around the block before I agreed to drive it because I'm a responsible person. At about 4 o'clock the previous day, Verizon was out, so nobody had phone cell service until almost 4 o'clock. So I got a message at almost 4 o'clock. I told Principal Hammond, I told Lindsay. Lindsay made a bunch of phone calls. I made a bunch of phone calls. We asked a bunch of people, and nobody could help, okay? So the next morning, I was hoping Rachel was gonna get better, and she was still gonna make it. When she didn't make it, one of my students, April, who spoke, she had been asking to drive herself for a couple of weeks. I told her, okay, let's ask your parents, and ask some other parents if the kids could ride with April, and so forth. And because I had a bus, I was driving the bus. I drove 14 kids in a bus. So you would have put me in a position to say 14 kids can go and 14 kids cannot go. And in hindsight, you're right. I probably should have said, hey, we're not going to go. But I personally think a better way would have been for me to be able to call Gretchen and say, hey, find us a driver. Okay, because obviously she has the power to do that. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about these board policies or this whole board manual until now I've been forced to study it. And now I see that all the things I've thought have been wrong for the last 2.5 years that I've just been sitting there wondering are actually wrong. And I see that actually parents do have a grievance and there is a form and they don't have to be upset. Okay? I've never, from the time I got hired to now, been sat down with HR and gone over the policy manual, the KUSD this, the that. Pretty much from the time I got here, it was figured out. And I'm going to tell you, thanks to Mr. Cody, I was able to figure out my job as a teacher. But I've been going through transportation and this problem and that problem. And you know what? All I've been trying to do is be the best teacher that I can be. And I'm not irresponsible. I'm not an irresponsible person. I've never been an irresponsible person. So like I said, I take responsibility for making that judgment call. But that's all I did wrong. And I'm going to tell you, that's one board policy. That was a mistake. Why should I be punished for a mistake? Why am I not counseled?
Well, I think, here's my perspective, if none of the other board members have anything that you would like. And I know that it's not going to be fun to hear. But as a business person, you know there's lots of fine print. And I don't think there is an expectation that someone should have to sit us down and go through every little thing in there. As a teacher, a highly effective and highly evaluated as effective and highly effective teacher, you know those policies are there in place. And so I don't believe.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
So nowhere in any of the time.
I did not know that the KUSD policy manual existed.
I find that hard to believe as a teacher.
2.5 year teacher. I'm not a 20-year teacher. I'm not a veteran teacher. Okay? I mean, I went through the whole transportation class and was never told that. I got a certificate and was never told that.
Okay.
So, I mean, It is what it is. I'm gonna, you know, no matter what happens here today, I have a course and a plan of action from the time I hit the door to what is gonna go next. The majority
So,
of
can I
the-
ask another question then? So, several times it was stated in the information, emails, different things that we received, you said it here today, that no one was actually hurt, everybody got back safe, so there really was no liability, even though it was a liable situation. What if someone had been hurt or killed on 93? It's a deadly highway with a emergency helicopter pilot that can probably attest to how many accidents out there on that highway.
What if a bomb landed on the school right now?
Well, yes, but that's not the thing, is that you had students driving other students, and that is specifically prohibited. It's on our parent permission slips, it's on all of those. And as a leader who are teaching students business, it's almost like you're saying, well, I didn't read the fine print, so I shouldn't be held accountable for the fine print.
No. I'm not saying that I shouldn't be held accountable. What I'm saying is that the punishment doesn't fit the crime. What I'm saying is that I should have been counseled. What I'm saying is that I should have, that if you have a policy that you expect me to know, then you should make sure that I know it, okay? That's what I'm saying. And what if, okay, so what if an accident had occurred? Then we would have called 911. Then we would have called this. Then we would have done that.
We don't have to keep going over that. I think.
But there's a lot of what ifs.
It would have been a lot more people upset that we broke a policy and that we didn't follow the rules of the district, and then somebody did get hurt.
Okay.
Just because nobody did, because it turned out all okay. But again, I think it is a hard lesson to learn. But in all avenues, there are expectations. We all have guidelines, policies, procedures, whatever word you want to put in there. And from the district's perspective, or at least from mine, I've worked, my husband works in areas that you just don't get a pass when something is, when a rule is broken or a policy is not followed. Because that's government procedure, that's the law of the area, and you just, especially in business, it would seem that you would understand that if you had an employee in your business that violated a policy that was pretty significant, students driving students, young students driving other students, even, you know, and again, I'm going back through the stuff that you have provided for us, the statements that have been read. I just, even as a parent of a student, I get a phone call from my son saying, here's a half-cocked version of what's going on. Can I drive my car? And you, from what I've read, there really can't be the expectation that all of the information was given to all of the students.
It was.
And all of the parents.
It was.
And not one parent not know from signing permission slips that students aren't allowed to drive other students.
It was.
I'm gonna interrupt. I've never seen that.
I have never seen that on any permission slip either myself, and I am a parent of, I feel like it.
I haven't had those permission.
We didn't get any calls from the principals, any statement, only calls from Ms. Rowe.
Carmel Rowe herself signed a permission slip in the prior school year for her daughter to drive a car to an event. That's part of the evidence. That was part of the conversation that we had. You signed the permission, the one that you're saying you haven't seen. I appreciate what you're saying, but you signed it for your daughter to drive, and it clearly says on there what the policy is. And when you were asked about it, you said, I don't read that stuff. I just sign it.
I mean, when my daughter hands me a permission slip, you're
But
right.
clearly,
But
you knew.
clearly, in your laws and your policy manual, it clearly says that every field trip is different, okay? And I know that because I have sat at home now for days and read and studied this, okay? So to use something that I did as a parent regarding my job and as evidence of something that I should have known, or I didn't know. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have jeopardized my kids' education. I wouldn't have jeopardized the program I was building. So you guys can sit up here and say this and that, and back to your question about as a business owner, guess what? I give people chances. I give people a lot of chances.
But there are some things that a second chance just, it
No,
can't
there's
happen.
not, because this wouldn't happen again. So that doesn't even, it doesn't even make any sense that a second chance wasn't warranted, okay? It also doesn't make any sense that I was deprived of my due process rights and that this was labeled as non-disciplinary, okay?
This is how, and
It's actually
you're able
not.
to go and ask questions, get your perspective, and then the district gives a recommendation. There's all kinds of recommendations. I'm sure you've read the different recommendations that they can have. And so this is the recommendation that came down from the district, from speaking with different entities, lawyers, things like that. So that is what the board is considering, the recommendation from the district.
And like I said, that I should have been given my right of due process. This is not non-disciplinary, okay? And according to your own policies, you guys are in violation of them. So, as a parent, as a teacher, I'm asking, put me back in my classroom, reinstate my contract. It's not like this is ever gonna happen again. It's not like I haven't said I was sorry. It's not like I haven't owned up to my mistake. I did, but at the end of the day, the district shouldn't have put me in this position. If the district would have provided the bus I asked for, I would have never been put in this compromising permit. And you know what,
But
this
there could be any number of things that could happen to transportation for any trips that happen. And there probably have been, that we're just not in a position that it got to this level.
Well, kind
Ms.
of-
Rowe,
So I'm
can,
going to back, yes, I was just about to.
can I interrupt? I just want to say that it's very, very obvious you care deeply for your students. They respect you.
Yes.
The impact that you've had on students is absolutely, unquestionably incredible. With that being said, I find your tone and your demeanor very, very aggressive and unprofessional. And you can laugh all you want,
okay.
because that is unprofessional too.
I mean, I'm upset. Don't you realize?
Obviously you,
Don't
yes,
you
yes,
realize
ma'am.
that
I'm a
upset?
30-year veteran of the classroom. I have taken multiple field trips with students. I understand everything that goes into it. I understand the frustrations. I understand the at times what feels like lack of support. Everybody here is human.
Including me.
Yes, ma'am. Including you.
But it seems to me that even in the district, in their own recommendations, they said, oh yeah, we're responsible for this. We could have provided, we could have done this and this and this and this.
But you don't give the district another chance? You're asking for a second chance, but you're not providing that for other people?
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying.
How am I not providing that for other people?
That's what I'm seeing in your behavior and in what you're saying.
And because I've noticed and I've told the truth about the flaws in the system, I've watched it for 2.5 years.
I watched it for 30, I understand.
Okay, well, then somebody needs to say the truth and speak out. Okay, if it happens to be me, if I'm the martyr here, then I'm the martyr here.
That's not accurate. That's not an accurate statement, because we've listened to a lot of degrading of other teachers, staff, and admins as we've had the calls, and as you said, the tone of voice. And yeah, nobody's helped me, but this person did help me, and you're the only one that can teach these students. And
I didn't tell you that. I didn't tell them to say that. I didn't tell anybody anything to say. Okay, I showed up here in the hopes that you, the board, would make the right decision. Okay?
The right decision in whose eyes?
I mean, I would say the students, if you ask me the truth. I would say the parents, okay? Like I said, if I don't return to my classroom, it is not gonna hurt me. It is not gonna hurt my paycheck. I'm not here for my retirement, okay? I got a $20,000 a month retirement waiting for me that I've made on my own, okay? I collect rent money on a monthly basis that's more than my paycheck, okay? This is simply not about a paycheck. It's simply about how I've been treated as a new teacher, how there are mismanagement of things that go on, how transportation has been mismanagement, how when I brought up transportation, it's always an excuse. There's never a solution. Okay, and I come from, not excuses, I come from solutions. So maybe, you know what, maybe you're right. Maybe I sound my tone, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, and maybe I should be a little bit quieter. My mom's probably gonna say, Carmen, why'd you get upset when I get back into the car? But I'm upset because I know the good I can do in the classroom and on the school, okay? And I'm upset because I complained from day one to day now about this is not fair that you put all this on me. Had I been given the bus, okay, whether it broke down on the way or not, but had I been given the bus, I wouldn't have been put in that situation. And if I wouldn't have been put in that situation, I would have been in my classroom for the last 4 months instead of sitting at home. Okay, and if I was gonna, and this is another thing that's broken about the district. I asked Angela, hey Angela, they don't want me to talk to other teachers during working hours. Why couldn't I work with the subs? Why couldn't I give the lesson plans? Why couldn't I have the work? Why couldn't I have even told anybody where we left off? Why couldn't I have given that information? I mean, why is it that you just cut a person off and all their hard work goes down the drain? Okay, and so maybe you think I'm not giving the district a chance. I've given the district a chance. I've sat quiet for 2.5 years. I didn't want to poke the bear.
Well, I think that's where maybe part of the problem is, and I addressed that question with you and through our email.
Well, I didn't know.
Is if there is a problem and we can't work on it, find solutions if we don't know that there was a problem. But that's not even what this particular is about.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Was a snap judgment in the morning before a trip because it wasn't going the way that we had hoped that it would go for the students. And sometimes, things don't go our way.
This would have been the second time for the same field trip. Okay, not only that, but we were out, this transportation is a very big issue. And I asked at the beginning of this, you know what, let's have an investigation into transportation, okay? No, just hear me, okay? I hear you.
We have.
No, I don't feel like you have.
Yes.
I don't, I feel like you're kind of looking through me, okay?
Not accurate.
And I'm just trying to tell you that there is a transportation problem, and both Angela and Gretchen, do you know what they said to me? There's nothing we can do about it. We know that.
We are, as a district, actively working to recruit more bus drivers. That is a statewide, nationwide issue, bus drivers.
And then I've also asked, okay, can we get volunteers? Can we have people do this? Can we have people do that? And I have never been provided an answer. Okay, I should not.
But again, that's not the issue at hand.
It is.
It's not, because you could have, when you could have emailed us, you could have been sent to us. We could have known before it became to a situation.
I didn't know about talking to you. The only way that I know about this is because I have now gone through this process. If I would have known, I would have been here a lot sooner. Trust and believe that, okay? And if you tell me, why should you give me a second chance and I don't give the district a second chance, right? You said that, whoever said that?
I did not say, why should we give you a second chance? I am not questioning that at all.
Okay. All I'm saying is that I should have never been put in this situation. And if I had not been put in this situation, we would not be here. So once I was put in this situation and I made that judgment, I do regret and I have apologized. But at the end of the day, I didn't put myself here. The district put me here. And the only thing I was trying to do was be a good teacher and do my job.
So given the same set of circumstances, what would you do differently?
Well, I would call Gretchen myself and I would say, is there anything that anybody can do about this? And if there was nothing that anybody could do about it, then I would either tell half the kids they have to stay or all of us stay. Depends on whatever the higher ups decided. Okay, but even when I told Lindsay when she called me, nobody told me to turn around. None of that. Okay, nobody. So I mean, I would definitely make it, I would never do that again. I would never, ever do this again. Okay, period. And now I know. Now I know about the whole board. I know everything I need to know.
May I ask a question?
You may. I was just about
Can you
to.
please, Carmel, help me understand? You've repeated 3, 4, 5 times that all you had to do was call Gretchen. Can you explain that?
Oh yeah, because
more?
it actually says, Gretchen, here that
That the
you,
superintendent has the
But I
final
can't
decision to
create
make
a driver
extra.
when one doesn't exist, but I can problem solve with you. And
Yeah,
I would
but-
have said, don't drive students or
I mean,
let others
but
drive
that's what I would do now, okay? Like, I believe Melissa at KHS, right? She probably would have known to call you. I didn't know to call you. She's been a teacher for 30 years. I didn't know, but now I know. Okay, if I had known, I would have called I would have never done this to these kids. I would have never done this to Gretchen. I would have never done this to Principal Hannon. None of this was malicious. None of this.
I do think we believe that. However, we do have a recommendation on the table.
I would like to ask another question.
Okay, you may.
Do you think, pending the vote of this board, do you think that if you were reinstated to your classroom, that there is the possibility and plausibility of a professional working relationship between you and your building administrator?
Yes. I don't, honestly, I don't have any will towards Ms. Hannon. I have tried to do the best job that I could do for Lee Williams High School and for Ms. Hannon. Okay? Now, do I notice some things that are wrong? Yes. Do I feel that I've been kind of unfairly mistreated? Yes. Can I get over that? Yes. If you want, I mean, I could go hug Ms. Hannon right now and tell her I'm apologizing.
I'd actually like to hear from Ms. Hannon if that's permissible.
Appropriate, it is.
Ms. Hannon, do you believe that there could be a restoration of the relationship between you and the teacher should she be reassigned to her classroom?
I think it would be difficult, honestly. I think that there are some things that have transpired that would make that difficult, but of course, I'm always willing to work with people.
Thank you.
Anything else with the board?
Just real quick, what would you do if you were an owner, your subordinate risked you to the point you had to call your lawyers and say, what's gonna happen? Do they still have a leg to stand on? Yeah, they can still sue you because what you did was took word of mouth. Okay, that's great. What would you do to your subordinate?
I would write him up and I would give him a contract, like a behavioral contract, and I would outline exactly what needs to happen so that we don't have this problem again. And then if we had this problem again, I would probably write him up again, if not, let him go. But the first time, I ran my own business for 25 years. I've never just fired somebody for a first-time mistake, and I've been put in libelous situations.
Even if it says in the paperwork that you already presented to them, this is what I expect out of you out of this job, these are the standards, we've got a class you're going to attend, these things.
Well, if I had been presented those things.
I thought you said you had a certificate for attending a...
Yeah, but the class was about driving and checking the vehicles. It wasn't, nobody brought up that kids can't drive themselves. Now, if I had been set down and it was spelled out and it was in a contract, then it might be something different. But it wasn't spelled out. I literally didn't know. And honestly, I'm a firm believer in second chances, okay? So I would not have just fired somebody or non-renewed their contract for a one-time mistake. If it was an every-time mistake, okay, right? You're right, what if something would have happened, right? Maybe I can understand that. But the fact that nothing did happen, I did ask for permission. I am very sorry, okay? And I am good at my job. I would ask that you would give me a second chance to prove to you guys that yes, I can work with Principal Hannon. Yes, I can do what you guys ask me. Yes, I can follow board policies. Yes, I now understand board policies. Yes, I can be an asset to the district instead of a liability.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is the pleasure of the board then?
You know, let me try to understand this exactly. So are we talking about a termination or a non-renewal of contract? I don't quite understand.
We just would not be offering a contract for the next school year.
Okay. So it wouldn't be a termination per se, it would be a non-renewal for next school year.
For the next school year.
And actually, I would like to be reinstated back to my classroom this school year, so that I could finish the work that I started, and I could give my advanced students their awards on CTE night.
Are we able to discuss this here, or?
Yes, well, this is the time to discuss it.
Okay, well, my opinion is that I don't think we should renew the contract, and this pleasant lady here will have time to think about her actions and then reapply for the position in a year if she wishes. And the board and the administrators will also be able to think about their actions, and it will give some space between this situation and when she might come back.
Susan, do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else to add. I think Dr. Cox's recommendation is reasonable.
Boyd, anything else?
No, I think it's very reasonable. I think that from the standpoint of I have children, I'm blessed that nothing happened to them, but you cannot pretend that you had supervision over how many cars following you. To me, that's just a risk. You don't know what they're doing in the cars. You don't know what the activity is going on from other drivers. I can't. I'm more than willing to, and I believe me, from your students, this is the first time we've had to deal with a teacher with a student who come in and said nothing but amazing things about you, and that hurts a lot. But I've got to also weigh the real human risk of the events that took place. Simple question, was there a 16-year-old driver with other people in the car?
Yes.
That's where the line, that's where it's got to be. I will happily, in a year, readdress the situation. If you would like to come back, we would love to have you come back. But at that point, there needs to be a really solid understanding of what is to be expected. But I will agree that there just has to be some sort of acknowledgement. I appreciate you keep saying, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault. But it immediately follows, but. And then we get to have all the buts going on.
But the
And
buts?
those buts they do need to be addressed. If those exist, I'm really hoping this opens the eyes up to the board, to the director, to the principal. I really would love to see that. We don't unfortunately see anything until it gets to the very end. And at the very end, we're presented with a situation that says we're children at risk.
Yes.
And that is unacceptable. We have to deal with students that have problems, and we have to deal with parents that have to know their kids are in trusted hands, our hands. And I'm sorry, your hands on a bus is not the same as the 16-year-old 3 cars back.
No, not 3 cars back.
One car, it doesn't matter, you're telling me that.
So I can see.
I had a 16-year-old daughter that got in a car accident in Kingman. She was by herself. You're telling me the student with distractions makes it that okay? That's plain and simple, that's what it boils down to with me. I am sorry for all the other stuff, and I do honestly hope to God you come back, and I do hope that these people take a second to address these things, make sure these standards are met and that these classes are taught better, to explain what it is you are doing. As soon as you decide to take care of any teacher, as soon as you decide to take care of any child, it is an inexcusable thing to have something not come up and for you to not follow a chain. I appreciate you tried to figure something out and make it work and to get these kids involved. But there's still a chain. There's still events that, all these other chains may have been led to bad events, but you could have broken the chain with we're stopping here until we figure out what's going on. We are stopping until we figure it out. So yes, my recommendation is that yes, we do not offer you one at this point.
So let me just say one more thing. Let me just be clear, okay? So what you're saying right now to me is that you're not willing to renew my contract, but that I can reapply at some later time, okay? Now, why not let me finish finish the school year and finish what I started. And all the things that we've gone over and the policies and procedure, why not put them and make me sign that if I violate, I don't come back? It doesn't seem to be, I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't reapply in a year. Okay, I'll probably be off making my own money. I mean, I'm used to making $50,000 a month. I've saved $50,000 a month, if you want me to be real honest. Okay, but it's important to me to see these kids graduate and to see their education and to see my business 2 go into business 3 and to see my business 3 out into the world. Okay, so why I hear you and why I'm appreciative for you guys to tell me to reapply and hopefully I could have my job back. Like I said, I'll probably never reapply. I did plan to give my retirement years to the KUSD school district and to make Lee Williams an A school and to make my program an A program, and that was my #1 goal. Okay? And I'm sorry to all these kids out here. I'm sorry to all of y'all. I'm sorry that I let y'all down.
So,
Okay?
then is there a motion then from the board?
Yes, there's a motion to not renew the contract.
Maybe a second.
I'll second that. And I also, I would like to amend that to direct staff to work with Ms. Rowe for the completion of her current contract and then non-renew at the end of it.
So does that mean I can go back to my classroom if they work with me until the remainder of the school year is over?
That means you're going to work with staff for a plan to transition to the end of the year. We don't dictate the details of it.
So it's with you and them.
So the motion then is to direct staff to work with Mrs. Rowe just to the completion of this contract, even if it's to remain at home assignment, and then to non-renew for the 25-26 school year.
What if we plan to non-renew but allowing to reapply?
What's that?
What is the difference between not renewing and then allowing her to reapply?
It's,
She couldn't reapply for the following school year. There would have to be a year in between.
But it's still making the same statement, right? Like she could be given the same result. Yeah. What if you're non-disciplining and then
What's the difference?
like
Now. That shouldn't be part of the motion, and it's currently not.
Yeah, it's not.
so yeah, we can't make that part of the motion, I guess. So yeah, it's just unfortunately to just not renew the contract.
Is it what Susan said, to not renew the contract?
I move that we direct staff to work with Ms. Rowe for a transition plan to complete her current contract and to non-renew for the following academic year.
I second that.
Last chance for comments or any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion then carries. That
now
takes
what
us,
happens with the students that are passing online that would, you just finished?
that takes us to item number 28, board comments. Any comments from the board?
Negative.
Negative. Dr. Cox?
No.
All right. And is there a motion to adjourn, item 29?
I will so move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned.